Welcome everyone to the Human Design System Study Group. This is a presentation about DEF channels. So if you don't know what these DEF channels are, you will by the end of this presentation. Okay, so this is part of, I'm so excited about this, a new study group series that I was inspired by a question from someone who was learning with me. So what if for you knew all the secrets of the Rave BodyGraph? This is one of the secrets right here. You might want to quiz yourself. What is this stream going through, this circuit? It's like a sub-circuit of all the major circuits. What is this? What is this secret? So that secret of the Rave BodyGraph, that's what I want to go through, dive into in this next year with you guys. This series is to help us understand the secrets of the Rave BodyGraph. So why are DEF channels important? When you take a look at this slide right here, what do you notice about these particular channels that I've put on this slide? Just to kind of get your mind thinking about it, activate inquiry into yourself. We're going to learn that in this presentation. So which are these channels that actually carry deafness? Why would I put these channels up there, and why would they carry deafness? That's another thing that we're going to learn. Why is this important? How you're going to apply this in your life by the end of this, I want to invite you to share it with me. How are you going to apply this information into your life? Because there are some surprising things you're probably going to learn about the DEF channels. So are you ready? Let's begin. What do all these channels have in common? So this is where you get to quiz yourself. Write it down. What do you think these particular channels have in common? And again, if you're already knowing this stuff, if you've studied Rave ABCs, the next course after LYD, you should know what all these channels have in common. And that is the mystery of individual circuitry. If you guessed individual circuitry, you're right. Now, one of the things that when you come to human design, you're new to human design, we say a lot of word phrases that might feel kind of awkward or uncomfortable. This is because Ra had a gate 62, which is about labeling the Maya. It is about putting names to things. And in order to structure this very new system into the world, he had to come up with labels, with names, with keynotes that would help us understand how to transmit what we see in the graph to others, what it meant when we saw it, to understand how it applied to us. So this is the circuitry. All of these channels have this one thing in common. They are all about individual circuitry, individualism. They're all about having this super keynote of empowerment. So understanding the individual circuitry helps you understand how we are all unique, new, different, designed to be mutative, designed to be, slightly deaf. Because when you take a look at keynotes in the circuitries, keynotes in the gates, oftentimes a lot of it can apply to the rest of it. It's like we are a complete totality. When you're isolating down to a gate, you're not looking at all the totality of you or all the totality of that circuitry, but there's this inherent relationship between all of the gates here, and this relationship between what they stand for, what they're about, how they operate. Okay, the reason why we have this red right here in the individual circuitry, that's actually the way that it's colored when I click the button in my BodyGraph workshop that I have access to as a employee of Jovian Archive. So when you're looking at the individual circuitry, what you'll notice is everything in black here, that is the knowing circuit. And here with the red, that is the centering circuit. And then also we have something called integration, which is not a circuit, but actually a series of channels. We could also call it the integration channel in the Human Design book, the definitive book of Human Design. You'll see it labeled as that, as such, and that is this series of gates right here. So now, the interesting thing about individual circuitry is that it all inherently has some kind of deaf quality to it because it's melancholic. It's designed to be mutative, and mutation is an individual process that is acoustic. This is about hearing. These people, anybody who has individual circuitry, is not designed to be deeply influenced by others, but rather go their own way, do their own thing, ignoring the collective, not being influenced by what is, but actually being in the moment, present in the now. That's what individuality is all about. So this is a big fat no to what other people want or know. This is the voices of, I know, I can try, I am who I am. If we take a look back at this particular throat gate, those are the voices here. I am, says the 20. I know I can try, says the 12. I know I can make a creative contribution, says the 8. The 23 says, I know. So these are gates that are not designed to be influenced by the outside. And in fact, the 1-8, the 12-22, these can be very powerfully impactful on the collective itself, mutating and transforming, bringing something new out into the world for the collective to share. Okay, so when we're looking at individual circuitry, these people, if you have any of those channels or even those gates in that individual circuitry, you're designed to be driven by your own unique process. Other people may look at you and, kind of look at you with suspicion, like, why are you different? Why are you, so freakish? Why are you like that? They kind of judge you. They react to your individuality. They think that maybe you're being stubborn-headed on purpose, when in fact, you cannot listen to them because you are not listening. You're not designed to listen to them. They're going to get upset with you and think, why won't you listen to me? I can see how you can be helped, or why you're banging your head into the wall. But that's part of our individual process, is that we've got to learn in the now from within, coming forth from our own uniqueness. So if you are an individual, other people should not take you personal. They should let us, our individuality, have our own process. And sometimes that's melancholic. Sometimes it's sad. Do you know why? Because this individual circuitry is mutative and it operates in a pulse. It's this on, off. It's off, it's off, it's off. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Energy, boom, something new is happening, something unique is happening. We are the freaks of the world, and we're here to ignore the conditioning of others and go our own way. So hopefully that helps you understand why this is important. The mystery of individual circuitry is that without this circuitry, we would not evolve. We would not have difference. We would not have uniqueness. So cherish these gates. When you look at these gates and you see that, oh my God, I've got a deaf gate. In fact, my friend, and I love her so much, Sari, you're here. She's got the 38 and the 39, and she is a cross of individualism. And she is so damn unique. She's got the 51 and the 57. Those are her incarnation cross sun and earth gates. She is a freak designed to go her own way. She's designed to be powerfully empowering to the other by not listening to what they have to say, but actually sharing what she knows. She's here to initiate, empower. So that's the potential for all of us who have individual circuitry, whether you have it in a defined center and you have an actual defined channel, meaning that you're here to have some kind of unique contribution to the world just by being who you are. And you're not here to be swayed to what other people think is important. You're not here to be, made feel bad about what their opinion is of you, because their opinions don't matter. For you, it's your unique inner knowing, your insights, your ability to handle things with grace, your provocation to find the essence of spirit in others. This is about you overcoming limitations and chaos and bringing order in the now. This is about you being empowered with the individual direction of going your own way. This is about you loving yourself, you having the perfect behavior for yourself, and you being able to go out into the world and look at the world with love as it is, not wanting to change anything, knowing that you have the intuitive awareness that can be empowered in the now to have the awakening that's possible for us as humans, that you're here to struggle for purpose, that you're here to fight, to have some kind of really deep meaning in life beyond just survival, beyond, the sharing of the human experience, but it's more about being empowered as a freakish, unique individual that other people just may not get. And so you're not designed to be swayed to what other people want of you. You're designed to be unique and empowered and empowering. That's your job in this world. That's what you resonate to. And you don't have to do anything about it. It's just allowing yourself to be who you are, and you be who you are by experimenting with your strategy and authority and your human design chart. So that's my little spiel on that, unexpected. When we look at these channels that are specifically deaf, can you tell me if you know which of these channels are specifically deaf? Go ahead and write it down or type it out, share with your fellow students. And we're gonna give you a little bit of a hint here, if you don't know. From my Living Your Design Awakening program, the first class in the official track of human design education, these are the 5 kinds of centers, and one of them are the awareness centers. So go ahead and either point to on the chart, write them down, label them, test yourself. Where are the awareness centers? And that's going to help you understand where the deaf gates are. I'll give you a moment. The awareness centers, there's 3. Here's another hint. There's 3 of them. Which centers are aware, have the possibility and potential to express awareness? If you answered the ajna and the solar plexus and the splenic center, you're right. Those are our awareness centers. This is about survival intelligence over here with the spleen. This is about emotional intelligence over here with the solar plexus. And this is about the mind conceptualization, the awareness that operates over all time of what mind is all about. This is about having the fears that come out as anxiety, mental anxiety up here. Down here with the survival intelligence, this is about the fears for survival. And with the emotional intelligence, it's about the nervousness about what may or may not happen. So those are the fear centers as well. So those are your hints. Now we go to the deaf channels. Here are the Human Design Rave BodyGraph deaf channels. And deaf channels, there you go. If you answered these particular channels, then you're right. And I put this up here just to maybe give people who have English as a second language a little bit of a sense of it better. Being hearing impaired, having hard of hearing, being deaf as a post, deaf to all advice, unmoved by, untouched by, unaffected by, indifferent to, unresponsive to, unconcerned by the outside influences of other people. So those are the deaf channels. Do you know what they are? Can you label them? We're going to go over them in this session, but I want to invite you. What is this channel right here? What's the 3955? The channel of blank, a design of what? Well, we see that this is the root center. This is about adrenalized physical pressure. It's pointing at the solar plexus. It must be a design of what? Some kind of emotion, right? And then over here, the 3828, we have this pressure to lead a physical life over here at the splenic center. What is this channel? This is a channel of what? A design of what? Why would these be deaf? We're going to get into that. Next, we have up here the ajna center pointed down at the throat, designed to conceptualize, designed to express something, right? So what is the channel 4323? Channel of what? A design of what? All right, so write that down. So here are the deaf gates. Opposition, the gate of the fighter. Where is the gate of the fighter in this particular slide? Point at it, write it down. You can type it in the chat if you like. What is the number of the gate of the fighter? Obstruction, the gate of provocation. What is the gate of provocation? What number is it? Where is it? Understanding what center it is in helps you understand the essence of this gate. Breakthrough, insight, the gate of insight. Where is that on the slide? It's so hard for me not to point at it, say this and point at it. But where is breakthrough? Where is insight? Oh, that's kind of a giveaway, isn't it? All right, so if you answered 43 for insight and you answered 38 for the fighter and 39 for provocation, you're right. So let's dive in even deeper. When we're looking at the gate of the fighter, opposition, this is the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. The center is the root. This is a pressure center, physical pressure. It's in the knowing circuit, the individual circuitry. It's about being empowered. This is about empowering. This is having the potential for awareness. What is the awareness about? It's about the awareness of something that is worth fighting for. Where's the purpose in my life? So if you're a 38 and you don't have the 28, you're constantly testing out different kinds of purpose. You're taking in other people where you're amplifying their 28 and it's connecting up with your 38. We have this electromagnetic connection and boom, you have some kind of purpose that is worth fighting for. It's actually going to be a struggle, but that struggle is empowering. That leads us into the channel of struggle. So this is a deaf channel. Why? Because it's stubborn. It doesn't listen to anyone else. It cannot hear the advice because it's not designed to be helped. That struggle is part of their creative individual process that actually brings them meaning, gives them meaning. So don't tell somebody else with the channel of struggle what to do, because not only can't they listen to what may help them, but you're taking away their empowerment of them finding that purpose, that meaning in the struggle. They're here to figure it out for themselves. They're here to be empowered. And in being themselves and going through that struggle and finding the empowerment, they're designed to be recognized and invited, because this is a projected element in the BodyGraph. They're designed to be able to have other people see the struggle, see how that empowers them, and be invited to express their knowing, express what is right for them to share if they're recognized and invited, if it's correct for them to share that experience with the other. This is how they inspire us with their struggle, with their stubbornness. And most likely, if you have either side of the channel, you're going to identify with recognizing some of this struggle, some of this stubbornness. I've been accused as a 28 in my unconscious nodal environment, I've been accused of being stubborn a lot. And in fact, when we have gate 38 filled by any of the planets, boom, I've got that channel as an electromagnetic. It's something I'm learning about. And you do too, if you've got the other side of the channel. When you've got something going on in one side of the channel, you've got the other side of the channel going on in the environment due to the neutrino stream or due to the person that you're with. If you're in a relationship, you're a 38, you got a 28 in your life, boy, is that relationship going to be a struggle. You guys are going to butt heads, you're going to have some stubbornness happening, but it can be empowering. As long as it's right for you, you enter into it correctly as yourself and you're not trying to make decisions based on the openness in your design, but you're being empowered by what's right for you. Oh boy, is this a wonderfully empowering experience. So you can see how empowerment is so critical, so important for us to understand. This is about understanding that it is acoustic. Remember, they cannot hear you. So don't try and force, don't waste your breath. Don't force your advice on them. So now I want to invite you to contemplate this. At the end of this webinar, I want to go to your charts if you feel like sharing. Actually, my appointment this morning that I normally have on Fridays has been moved, so I have time. If you have to go, feel free to go, but if you want to share, stay and share. The floor is open for you to actually come on, share with me your experience, your struggle with this channel, or even the gate, just the gate, and the strength of tenacity. That strength of tenacity. Tenacity is the word we use for this channel of struggle in the BG5 language, which is slightly different than the human design. It's more like an evolution of it that is designed to be more impactful to more people and empowering in the world and help in a more graspable, easily accessible aspect of the language. So you can also say that someone with this design is very tenacious. And so how has it empowered you or others to find purpose? That's what it's for. So please go ahead and feel free at the end of this presentation to share with me what you have discovered and what you know about this channel. So now we move on into obstruction. The gate of the provocateur, provoking, the gate of provocation. This is the value of obstruction in provoking analysis, assessment, and reevaluation. You can see again it's in the root center. This is the knowing circuit, and it's pointed at the emotional solar plexus center. Emotional intelligence as a wisdom potential. If you've got this open and undefined in your design, and you've got the 39 pointing up at it, the gate of spirit, the gate of abundance. This is a person, if you've got this in your design, who is designed by nature to provoke other people. If it's defined in your design, meaning you have a defined root center, colored in root center, you are naturally going to provoke the spirit of others. Now, if you provoke somebody and they're not really getting it, not getting you, not liking it, you provoke them and they go away, they're not for you. No big deal. Your provocation is there to see, to test, to bring out the spirit in others. Abundance is strictly a question of spirit, says Gate 55, and you as the 39 are constantly looking for the right person that has that 55 that can match up with your provocation, that you can provoke to find the spirit, to have this complete channel that brings energy, aliveness, vitality into the design through finding spirit, finding the passion that other people are possibly looking for. So do you see how it's kind of a mirror? In fact, they are mirrors to each other, the 38 and the 39, where on one side we're provoking, we're struggling, we're fighting to find purpose. Here, we're struggling, we're fighting to find spirit. So this is a very powerful way that individuality can be adrenalized. This is the root center starts things off. It pressurizes all of the circuitry in the body graph. So understanding who you are here to be, how you're here to be, helps you understand your own behavior and how it's perfect and how you can love yourself no matter what. So moving on into the channel of emoting, this is a design of moodiness. So if you answered moodiness earlier, you're right, because this person is inherently moody. Now, they may not think that they're moody, particularly if they have an unconscious definition here where the line, the channel right here is red. But what happens, remember, we have that pulse of energy. We have that nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, and then something's happening. That's because that's the frequency of this stream of energy. So when this person is particularly moody, they cannot hear advice. They don't listen to anyone else. They're, again, not designed to be helped by you. This moodiness, this melancholic frequency is part of the creative process. All individuality has that potential sadness. And that moodiness, that melancholic is the melancholic energy is their creative muse. They find meaning in this provocation, in this provoking of others. and they can't listen to what may help them. They have to maybe ask, and even then, if they ask, if they invite you to share some advice with them, they're only going to hear what they can resonate to in the frequency of the moment. So this is something really important to understand about anybody with emotional definition. If you are someone with emotional definition in your life, are trying to grasp something, understand something, hear something, you absolutely cannot if you are somewhere on the emotional wave that doesn't match the frequency of what the other person is saying. That's why when we're fighting, we cannot hear what the other person's saying if they're calm, you know, even if they're angry too. But this is a rationality. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important for those of you, us, who have emotional definition to have patience, because we need to feel our feelings. We can't stomp them down. We have to allow this expression of emotion, this moodiness to happen. So don't try to force any child of yours, any friend of yours, any family of yours to get out of the funk that they're in if they are an individual circuitry, because they need to feel it. They need to have the melancholy for themselves to be empowered and to foster creativity. There's a really beautiful audio on Jovian Archive by Ra about children, and I believe it's a design of creativity, a design of creativity that can help speak more to this if you're interested. If you have a child that has a lot of this, I encourage you to check that out. So now I want to invite you again. Would you like to share, if you have this channel, or if you have just one side or the other, would you like to share what it's like to have the channel of emoting and the strength of provocation? You can even share if you have someone in your life that you're witnessing, you're experiencing, that has this whole channel and you don't, or maybe you just have one side and together you're getting compromised by the strength of their provocation, their own individual, unique expression of this particular frequency of emotion. How has it empowered you or others to find spirit in your life, to find abundance, which is strictly a question of spirit? That design of moodiness is there to empower the being that it's in. It's there to empower others' success when it's recognized and invited out of them. So let them be. Now we go to the gate of insight. This is the gate of breakthrough. In order for achievement to be maintained, a new order must be fairly established. This is all about having conceptualization, not ideas, not opinions. This is insight. So in the individual circuitry, we have the left ear, the right ear, and the individual third ear. It's not the third eye, it's a third ear. Knowing is acoustic. This is all about having breakthroughs in in concepts that can be translated into language. Now, when we think about the frequency of light, light is a frequency, right? There's this certain energy behind light. And if we're trying to translate light into sound, it has to be stepped down in frequency and explained through the voice, the words, and our minds don't think in words. Our mind thinks in pictures, it thinks in light. So this is a really important aspect of all individual circuitry, is that it's knowing is acoustic. It's about hearing. Ra, if you look at his design, had a lot of individual circuitry. He was a unique, freaky genius that structured human design in an empowering way, in a unique, new, different way. So that is the ability of the gate of insight, to have breakthroughs. Those breakthroughs are designed to be deaf because they cannot be influenced by other people's opinions or sharings or stories or thoughts. It's new, it's unique. It can be, dismissed because other people may think that it's just too new. They can't get to that frequency. They don't understand it. So they toss it aside, they throw it away, they dismiss it. And it simply means it's not for them. Don't take it personal, just not for them. They can't hear you, it's okay. But the 43 also can't hear them. It's not designed to. So the channel of structuring, this is a design of individuality, the genius freak. Genius because it can express its knowing, it can structure it in a different way. Now this is again another projected channel, a projected element in the design that is designed to be pulled out of you by the other. It is designed to be recognized and invited out of you. So anyone who has in this room the 4323, have you ever noticed if you tried to blurt out what you know and what you see to somebody else that wasn't asking you for your insight, for your opinion, that they totally either dismiss you, they don't understand you, they take your knowing and somehow they maybe hear it, it maybe got into them on a one level, but later they come to you and they say, hey, did you know, blah, 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 and they repeat right back at you what you told them. They take your insight and they don't give you appreciation. They don't give you recognition. They don't value you for who you are because you tried to throw your pearls before swine. They didn't understand you because you could not be heard in that now, in that moment, because you weren't recognized, you weren't invited. Now, this is true for anybody who has any kind of design. It doesn't matter what type you are. When you look at the projected channels, those are designed to be pulled out of you. All right, so again, doesn't listen to anyone else, not designed to, cannot hear advice. This is them having their own unique expression of them having what they know come out. So the advice that, maybe you have a friend who is a mental projector. I actually have multiple mental projectors as part of my practice. And I have the 23, and what tends to happen is they're always telling me, and I need to remember to reflect, rather than try to share with them my own knowing, because unless they're asking me, they cannot hear it. So this is possible moodiness also, again, because it's part of the creative process. They find meaning in their personal insights. They're here to express that. They're here to be able to be empowered by that. And again, can't listen to what may help them. They're here to express it for themselves, be having that empowerment in the world of form, translating these concepts of the Maya into knowing, acoustic knowing, word frequencies that get instantaneously just come out when it's pulled out of them is when it really has a powerful expression in the world. So now, what is this like for you? Would you like to share your experience with the channel of structuring and the strength of efficiency? Remember, efficiency, as I say strength, we call in BG5, we call channels strengths. Efficiency is here to help structure concepts into a new way that can empower others. So how has this, if you have this channel, how has this empowered you in your life? I really invite you guys to share with me if that's something that you would like to be able to have the expression of, in the study group, sharing. It's really helpful to have us share, have us be empowered in the experience of what does this actually mean in our lives. If you're studying human design on your own, you may find that a lot of book learning, a lot of audio learning cannot replace actual experiencing, sharing, communing with others. We human, nine-centered humans are designed to have communing be way better than anything else we can ever dream of. Actually being ourselves and in communion with the others, that is what this is about. So if you are an individual having this mutation happen acoustically, having this not being influenced by others, having camaraderie in that, having a shared experience of that, finding somebody else who has this companion channel as you, that's really an awesome place to be as well. And that's another reason why I have these study groups, so that you guys can share with each other, so that you guys can be empowered by each other, by helping others up along the way. It's one of the reasons why I do this, is to help us all have community. I'm learning about that in my this year's solar return. So here we have a recap of what the deaf channels are. So now you know the channel of struggle, a design of stubbornness, the channel of emoting, a design of moodiness, the channel of structuring, a design of individuality, from genius to freak. Freak because it's new and different. Freak because it may not be understood by others. And if they don't understand you, it's okay. Shrug your shoulders and go, oh well, not for me. Go your own way. Be your own empowered uniqueness that you are. I really resonate to these channels, not only because I have the 28 and the 23 in my design, but I have the 1-8. And the 1-8 just goes its own way, does its own thing. I cannot control how I speak, how I look. It just happens as it happens, and I go the way that I go. And being myself, I make my creative contribution. So how are you being yourself? These are the secrets of the BodyGraph that I wanted to share with you. These deaf channels, all of them together, they're connected up in frequency with each other, meaning they're even more deaf than what the regular individual circuitry is about. All of the images that I sent you or showed you earlier, that has all of the individual knowing circuit colored in, the centering circuit, the integration, which is all about self-empowerment, not just empowerment, but being self-empowered. They all resonate, relate to each other. So if you've got some frequency, some definition in your design, or some openness where there's a dormant potential just hanging out there waiting to be turned on. Let's say you've got the 20 or the 10 or the 25 or the 51, the 12, the 22, the 2, the 14, the 3, the 60. If you've got the 34, if you've got the 57, the 24, the 61. All of those are designed to have a resonance to each other. And in fact, when you've got the 63, when you've got this energy right here that is moving towards from the root to the sacral, that actually influences the entire rest of the design to have more individuality, more melancholy, more uniqueness, empowered freakishness, pulse of energy. And that is true for these other channels here. They're the format channels. You learn about this when you start to take classes, or you read some of the articles that are put out by Jovian. You got the Human Design book. You'll notice these particular channels down here, they're formats. And so they format the rest of the design. This is where we get that mutative pulse, that frequency in all of the individual circuitry. It's patterned by that. Okay, so just to understand a little bit deeper about these channels, if you want to learn more about channels, channels are covered in Rave Cartography, which is the 3rd foundation class. If you want to learn more about circuitry, circuitry is covered in Rave ABCs, which is the 2nd foundation class. The first of the foundations, the class that's for everyone who new to human design, to start off your experiment, is Living Your Design. So how are you going to apply this deaf channel recognition in your life? My invitation to you again is to look at your design, maybe take a printout, get a new printout and circle all of those gates in your design, and then go and read them and recognize how they work in your life. How are they showing up in your life? If you're a projector, you might want to get your children or your spouse or your boss or somebody that you're looking at all the time, that's in your field all the time, and do that for them. And recognize how they show up in your life, and see where your individuality is showing up in their life. How they're reflecting it back at you, because that's how we projectors wake up, is seeing enough others with our design. All right? So how are you going to apply this in your life? What if you knew all the secrets of individual circuitry? Remember how I said there's a left ear and a right ear? Remember how I said that there's other places where we have creative expression in the body graph, but the 1-8 is the creative expression of the individual circuitry? So what if you knew all those secrets? How would it change your understanding of yourself? How would it change your understanding of others? If you're studying design, how would it change your ability to give sessions to other people who ask you, who invite you to share what you're learning because they recognize a difference in you and how you actually show up? I came to Portland a few weeks ago now. I think it's been a week and a half actually, probably. But I came here and my mom said, "You're different." And it had been a while since I came here. She said, "You're so much more confident." She really recognized the difference. And now that I'm, going beyond my 4th year in design, there is a big difference. If you go back and listen to my YouTube videos in the very beginning, they were scripted. I wrote poetry and I expressed them very differently. My voice has changed. Part of my purpose is expressing my voice, having my uniqueness come out through my voice. So having this system to study and to practice and to help others has been the most rewarding experience I have had in my entire life. To be able to really see a difference in people that I'm nurturing or mentoring in my experiment, the people on my fractal who are here to learn with me and grow with me, because it is a two-way street. So what if you knew these secrets? If you want to start studying Living Your Design, when you get this PDF, you can click on the link and discover how you're here to embody your design. When you are ready to move on, if you've already taken this with me, then you're going to go into the ABCs. Now on this particular slide, I remember I put all of this information on what LYD is. There's no prerequisites, but there are in diving into the matrix. So before you take Rave ABCs, you need to have a foundation reading. A foundation reading with me tends to be about 2 hours. It tends to be this dance of talking with you about what you know and discussing with you about what I see, so that we are able to cover thoroughly the foundations of your type, your strategy, your authority, your profile, and your incarnation cross. So that is me synthesizing all of that into a unique presentation that meets you where you're at, so that you can get ready to dive into the matrix of ABCs. ABCs goes into the circuitry and the hexagram structure, and deeper into the black and the red, the personality and design. Next, we have Rave cartography after that. This is your preparation for professional human design advanced training. Now, you don't have to become an advanced human design analyst by taking cartography. I remember when I got to this stage of cartography, I still wasn't quite sure. I was still testing the system. I was still, going, well, really, is this for me, or should I become a regular life coach and go into, life coaching schools like $15,000? It's a lot less than a full education in human design. The way I saw it, human design is so profound and deep. It has so many classes. It's a big investment. If you're just wanting to test that and see what it's like, cartography is where you are prepared for becoming an analyst or a Living Your Design guide. So that is where we're going to go into the centers even deeper than before, the not self and its 9 strategies, having the definition be key. So talking about the channels in depth, talking about authority again, and the angles and the 12 profiles. So this is a really deep course. It's a lot of material. Really dive into that if you're thinking about becoming an analyst, or if you are already a life coach and you use this in your practice, you need this one. So one of the things that I wanted to offer is that together all of those courses are $1,650. If you want to sign up for it with me now, I can include a foundation reading if you sign up before the end of the month. So I don't want you to stress or feel pressured. I will do this again, probably not until later this year, if not next year. because I'm teaching also at the BG5 Business Institute and my practice has gotten really full. But I just wanted to make this available, and if you need it, I can do payments. I just can't include the foundation reading if you're doing payments, but I want you to know that this information is there for you. And if you can't afford it, or it's not the right time, we're still going to continue these study groups. It's still going to be a larger group of people that can come together and share, because I feel that together we learn more. Not only are we more, but there's these beautiful connections that happen to allow you guys to connect and share and empower each other. So I want to keep facilitating that because it helps me in my process of being a connector, which is what a projector is designed to do, connecting up people. I love that. So anyway, that is my offer to you guys, and I want to invite you, if you're ready, here's my phone number at the bottom. If you have any questions or you want to sign up when you get this PDF, all you have to do is click that link right there in this image, and you can go to the special page that will allow you to get the early bird price, including the foundation reading, which is available until the end of this month, okay? If anybody has any additional questions, feel free to call, to write, Skype chat me, to email, to find me on Facebook. You guys know how to get a hold of me. And I look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Bye for now.